Before I begin my story, I feel it's important to note that I'm a female and I was 18 at the time that this happened. So my boyfriend, Trevor, and we were both on vacation towards the end of last summer. We had gone all around California, and after ending our journey through Santa Cruz, we had now stopped in San Francisco. The drive was quite beautiful, but it had us quite beat too. So we decided to just hang out in whatever hotel or motel we ended up staying in that night. We were just too tired to go anywhere else, and we needed energy for a concert that we were supposed to go to the next day. We ended up staying in a Motel 6, right on the edge of Tenderloin. The motel was just about the only place available after a long search. I know, we should have booked something earlier. But hey, we did find something, and it was quite cheap. We thought everything was sorted. But unfortunately, Trevor and we didn't know much about the districts of San Francisco. This meant that we weren't aware of how scary Tenderloin could be, both at day and during the night. Anyway, we checked in, and the room, as well as the motel itself, they were actually really nice on the inside. After a night of people watching, shitty room service food, alcohol consumption, and the National Geographic channel, we decided to call it a night. The two of us slept really well that night. That is, until sometime in the early morning. We were both lost in deep slumber when my dreams were interrupted by what sounded like loud banging and shouting. I finally opened my eyes and rolled over, still half asleep and kind of hungover. I was really confused as to what all the noise was. I thought it was just my imagination at first, but the commotion, it was very much real. I looked at my phone clock and it was barely 8 o'clock in the morning. I noted that we didn't have to check out until at least 12. I reasoned that maybe it was the motel worker or something, or maybe the building was in trouble or something. I shook Trevor awake and his face showed the same confusion as I felt. The banging was definitely coming from our motel room door, and the shouting was a loud male voice, but I couldn't quite make out what he was saying. "What's going on?" I mumbled as Trevor rolled over out of bed, eyes barely open, to go check it out. Now, it's important to note here the layout of our room. There was a hallway from the door to the rest of the room. Basically, it was impossible to even see the door from the bed or anywhere else in the room due to the wall blocking it. So I couldn't see what was going on when Trevor made his way hazily to the door. And this is where my boyfriend made his first mistake. Before opening the door, Trevor did not look through the peephole. He even admitted this following the incident, stating that if he did, none of this would have happened. Anyway, at this point, I was sitting up in bed, with the bedsheet being the only thing to cover my body. I listened intently, and then I heard Trevor open the creaky door just a little, and before he could even say anything, the sound of an African American male's voice rang through the room.
"Hey man, what the fuck? I said I'd be here at 8.
He sounded extremely aggravated. My heart skipped a beat. Already, I knew this wasn't right. Trevor stuttered. I think you've got the wrong room, man. I don't know who you are." He said this as nicely as possible, but I could still detect a little shakiness in his voice. The man just seemed to ignore him.
"I've been banging on your door all morning. Didn't Stan tell you? You have my clothes, man."
I didn't think it was possible for this guy to raise his voice any more than it already was, but that last sentence proved that I was wrong. I was definitely awake at this point, and I sat frozen in the bed. It seemed like eons before my boyfriend replied, and there was silence just hanging in the air. What if this man had a weapon? I felt my stomach sink, and I was scared for the both of us. Trevor replied, "Look, like I said, I don't know you. My girlfriend and we just checked into this room last night. There's nothing in here but our stuff. I can call the front desk for you."
"Hey, I don't need no front desk, man. You have my fucking stuff. You've got to let me in."
Suddenly, I heard a scuffle, and then I heard Trevor say, Hey, no, you can't come in here, man." I pieced together quickly that the man, he'd forced his arm through the crack to unlock the deadbolt, judging from the sound of a click, The man replied, voice raised.
Yo, don't grab my arm, man.
Trevor had proceeded to use defense by grabbing the guy's arm, stopping him from coming into the room.
I'm sorry, but you can't come in here. I don't know you.
The man then said,
I ain't got no weapons, I swear. Look, I know you know Stan. And I know you, remember? He told me we'd be meeting here, right now.
I decided that maybe it was time for me to pipe up. Maybe if this guy heard a female was in the room, he'd calm down a bit. I called out as calmly as possible.
Trevor, we can go. It's okay.
I was fully prepared to hop out of bed and grab my stuff and get the fuck out of there if need be. There was no doubt in my mind that this guy was into drugs or something, and he was also probably mentally unstable. I was definitely heard, but Trevor had no time to reply to me, because the man, he spoke up again.
Look, just let me in. I need my shit. Then there won't be any problems.
Silence hung in the air once again. He followed that up with,
I know you know Stan. Let me in.
There was more noise from the door, and suddenly, a figure bounded its way through the door. The man, he had made his way in. Trevor followed, and when he was finally in sight, we exchanged a panicked expression. The man, he was very tall, and when we saw him, he said in an eerily cheered tone,
See? She knows him.
I didn't make any eye contact, as he proceeded to rummage around our room, just mumbling to himself. Neither I nor Trevor bothered to say anything. After what seemed like forever, the man, he seemed to be done searching the place. He came out of the bathroom and said,
Oh shit, this isn't my room.
Trevor, not hiding his frustration anymore, said,
Yeah, I know. Now would you please just leave?
And without a word, the man just stood there, and then he suddenly made his way for the door. Trevor followed close behind to close the door and lock all the locks as soon as this guy left. The man said something else that was inaudible as he took forever to go through the door. Trevor started to close the door, but there were more sounds, and then I realized that he was trying to let himself in again. At this point, my boyfriend was through with being nice, and I heard him pushing and saying,
Just leave, please.
Followed by the final sound of the door slamming shut and the locks being locked. Finally, he was gone. After the encounter, we both just sat there in disbelief, just shaking. Trevor apologized again and again for being so stupid and for putting me in so much danger. I was honestly just glad that he and we were both okay. I told him that it was okay, but that I definitely wouldn't be getting back to sleep anytime soon. We proceeded to pack our stuff up that very minute, leaving half an hour later. The scariest thing about this whole situation was that we were on the top floor, and at this particular motel, just getting into the room hallways was basically impossible. That is, without first getting confirmation with the front desk. He had no key, nothing. Obviously, we were very, very cautious on our way out. We were worried that he might be lurking behind a corner somewhere by the elevators, but thankfully, he wasn't. However, on the first street, located out of the motel parking garage, a man passed the crosswalk right in front of us. When I looked up and met eyes with him, I swear it was the man, and the look he gave me, I'll never forget. G'day mates, it's B-Buster here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video guys. And you know, I once heard about this hotel that it had a ghost in it. And the hotel manager, he called for an inspector. Get it? Inspector? I'm here all week guys, I'm here all week. Thanks again to the Hive member that bravely shared their story for us all here. And I hope you're doing well. For the chance to have your story featured in a video, you can send your story to my email, which is in the description below. And as always, keep them coming guys, as this channel relies upon your stories to continue. Also, please do me a favour and just state in your email what your story is about in the description, and also provide me with a short written statement of consent just so that I can be above board with everything. Also, please remember to tell me in the email if you would like to remain anonymous, and please change any names if you don't want particular names to be shared. As always guys, it would be awesome if you could like, share, comment and subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for updates throughout the week. You can also catch me on my second channel, all of which have links in the description below. Thanks again for always tuning in guys, and for all the love and support, and I'll see you mates in the next one.